Hi, I'm Ms. Herkler. Welcome to 8th grade art. Now, way back when in 6th grade, I know that you went over some things that have to do with the elements of art and the principles of design. And the first things that you learned about was the line. And in the line, you may have done some marks similar to this. And then when you went to 7th grade, perhaps you had art, and you talked about shapes and making shapes. After you started with that line, you moved on to perhaps making it a little bit three-dimensional and adding shapes in your boxes or in your sketchbook. And whether you use a sketchbook or use plain paper, that's fine. We'll have a sketchbook and we'll get them to you. But in 8th grade, this sketchbook will be more about expression. And with the first pages, I want you to think about these 9-box grids. And in these 9 boxes, I just want you to doodle. I want you to find whether it's a marker, a pencil, a Sharpie, a ballpoint pen. We'll have all of them in class, and I'll have a kit sent home to you with a little bit of a selection in terms of pens and markers to make a mark in your sketchbook. But for the first pieces, I want you to think about your line. And again, repeat some of those patterns that you have learned before. Next box, think about your shapes. And it doesn't have to be exact, it could be random. This is a class where you make the choices. The marks you make in here are up to you. And as you move past and think about whether the line or the shapes, whether we're going to stay with a 2-dimensional or a 3-dimensional piece, that's up to you. You can use a ruler and make it really exact, but that's not necessary. But I know that some of you may want to use a ruler, and that is okay. In these next boxes now, I want you to play with the idea of design. You maybe remember this with the 1-point perspective, and try maybe to get the box here. And I want you to just think about some of those ideas that you covered in 7th grade with 1-point perspective. And in here, I just want you to think about that. Put a mark and put some boxes floating in the air, floating back down. I want you to think about that. Perhaps you're going to think about that perspective and the rays of the sun coming out of there. It's up to you. Maybe there's a little box floating in that water. So, it's up to you. These last few boxes are for you to be expressive. I want you to play with the idea of lines, shapes, and 1-point perspective. Perhaps it's a railroad that goes off into the distance. Perhaps it's a city street. So it's up to you. Enjoy!